So, if the very subtle mind goes through rebirths, the person who is remembering their past life, who doesn't have awareness of the very subtle mind, nor able to access it, how do they get the memories from the very subtle mind to the gross mind to be able to remember their past lives? So, कैसी दी same tama se di to se gemado. Oh, okay, sorry. The same tama, right? So se di se gemado same tama dogire, right? Ini de latini dini mikashi di se nyama trengi do, right? Karan di yami di TV nangla yoro. So concept the same trauma hakogimen do, right? Yina the tremba the same trauma nangla de, right? The senyama the bakcha the so the concept the same trauma yome hakogimen do. So then concept kandi the tremba the same rakla kegira, right? He likes your question. So you're doing it right, Dave. You might be up to 75%, bro. That's good.
We didn't have many questions before they.
And that's not a bad thing.
Even if it was, I'd probably ask it.
connection the branch 상월 열어 call general yoris the same tamodi dan same rabo for the yoris connection yoris the connection 되게 그 야 land 단대 생각 왜 connection 돼 same tamo 내가 대두고요 말해서 그 거니 그 그러면서 먼저 니국대 먼저 수부 열어 먼저 수부 열에 강발라고 해서 열에 닝다 상어 열에 나 디디 내가 지금 말이야 그냥 수부당 셈만 저어요 그니 저어요 뭐는 저어요
Same tamo.
셈 타모당 셈라고 저어요
Okay.
저어요
So, yeah, so the remembering, the act of remembering is an activity of the grosser level of mind, right? And as you said, well, from like life to life, this the subtle level of mind goes, and these carry the imprints or the memories, right? But how is the gross level of mind is able to activate it is because there's always a connection between the subtle level of mind and the grosser levels. So you can imagine like the subtle level of mind is like the roots of a tree. And then the grosser level is like the branch and all of those things, right? Like the branches and the whatever else. But the roots and all the other parts of the tree are always connected. Like, you know, the roots are connected to every other part of the tree, and the rest of the tree can't function without the roots. So it works like that. There's always a connection between the subtle level of mind and the grosser levels of mind, right? So, for example, when we're asleep, right, then the gross level of mind's not active and the body's not active and all of these things. But you know, they're still there, but there's not working at that point, right? But there's always this connection between the subtler levels of mind and the grosser levels of mind.
저어디 수수 오래서 와 저어디 다 레 소요 레 먼저 레 먼저 미 저어면 레디 먼저 미신다 미 류디 근데 심탐모디 레가 차와 당도 저어시마 하러 스케글링이나 양 하를 저어래 레디 해 류당 양 심탐모디 저어서요 그래서 저어서니디 레서 와 레가 다 쳐도 아니 하고 저러고다
Okay.
Mm.
So what makes this connection between the gross level of mind and the subtle level of mind? Well, that comes down to our karma, right? So at the moment we have this karma to be born as human beings, and with it comes the body of a human and all of the various aspects of a human being. And because of that connection, right, like because of that karma, we have this body and so forth, and then this makes this connection between the gross and the subtle levels of mind. However, if we die, for example, in next life we have the karma to be reborn as a god, then we'll be reborn in the body of a god, and then through that karma, that make a different connection between the gross and the subtle levels of mind.
뭐마 저한테 뭐예요? 뭐마 대자
Mm.
이제 먼저 수부디 다 된다가 이제 쉐벨레가 치도록 먼저 수부디 단 쉐바 되거든.
Oh, okay, mind and body. Yep.
다 배나 싱다 도다 탭도서 쉐벨레가 치도문도다. 먼저
Okay.
대나지 되고래 야 미가시 로춘주라 가시 선하고는 니쿠데네 산이 나요 말에 로춘주 로 시가 두 둔제 구주로 수부배 탕보래 콜라 나자요 말에 디링이 그대로 산이 나요 말 시대 그 수부
Oh, shitsasan.
시사
Okay.
수부디 배 야고요다 이네디 쉐와디게 내가 지금 온다 쉐와 수부디 내가 제 누구도 요말 수부 탕보 상모요다 수부 이나코 쉐와디 요말다 쉐와디
Draw a chess on it.
그렇지
Okay.
근데 간대에서 연구하래서 저래고 알았다. 이 간대에서 다 레게 저거래도 레게 저 레라 입장이지. 진짜 라임인데 돼.
Okay, so previously you sort of like read or studied about this like a fair bit, and like as he said, we have this mind and we have this physical body, and the mind and the body are connected, right? And because like the mind can't directly interact with external phenomena, like physical matter, right? So it does it through the connection through the body, right? But like there's some cases where like young people, like only 5, 6, 7 years old, who are very healthy, like have good physical, there's nothing wrong with their body, very healthy, but they'll go to sleep and they just won't wake up, right? For no apparent reason. And why does this happen? Why do they just die in their sleep when there's no physical symptoms or anything like that? And this is because that connection between the mind and body is broken, because whatever karma there was has been cut or has run out, and then that means that the connection between the body and mind is broken, and then like they die and go on.
근데 저거 망고 제일 미망고라 배자다 안 공부를 되게 망고 여러 저지 가르치는데 다디 남시 신다 신도 되더라 미신다지 될 수야 나오는 되더라 미신겨 저라 부싱아 저라
Right.
미디 보딜라 미신다 남시 주나 야 나오는 되더라
Okay.
수부자단 탐구로 이나디 연구요 말하고 연구요 말하고 가르치는 거 말이다 저들이 거라
Right.
그 파돌라 망고 여라 파돌라 미망고 깨어세고
Right.
근데 지금 남시 디남도 야 나오는 되게 연구면도
Okay.
가르치는 거 말하는 제가 그걸 저어트 두고요. 그래서 보다 남시 레게 저어요 말로. 저어트 두고요 말다. 레디 디버를 투견이 됐다 한다.
Okay, so many of these types of questions arise in debate, like at the monasteries, right? They debate about it a lot. So one question is, like, in this situation where the body's healthy and the connection's broken between the mind, but there's nothing wrong with the body. There's no reason why the body can't sustain it. Why can't another mind just go into that body and then the person becomes alive again with a different consciousness? Because there's many beings in the bardo and around, but none of them are able to just enter the body and take that person's body. And why is it? And then the general answer seems to be that it's unable to make a connection with the body. Another consciousness can't make that mind-body connection that's required because the karma's not there, right? Because that karma's not there, or can't ripen, can't make that connection to the karmic connection, then can't make a connection between the mind and the body. Right. So again, you have to learn about karma, because if you can't understand about karma, it's pretty hard to understand all this stuff.
쉐와디 다 참바라고 참바 쉐와라고게 쉐와라고디 참바 때뭐 바자 두부시 하나 아니 데마 심로 다참 제면은 차와단도 그러와 차와
Right.
차와단도 아니 차와디 한번 제면은 팀로 그래 제만은 그러와 제마하고 그러와 제만을 데려와 가서 seeds
Soil?
제마 seeds 가족하고 제만은 거기 가서
Like waves.
말은 제마하고 그래서 그 다스 강하다 다스라는 그런 거 주마 팀로도
Right.
sand
Oh, no, sand.
Ah.
Sand, yeah, okay.
차와디 제마스도 sand라고
Oh, okay, so the sand the simtramodraware.
말을 이래고
Okay, right, I'll wait up.
다그 sand이 먼저 스부라고 그래 스부 먼저 스부
Zugbo.
다 차와디 땅에 딱 디나는 두슬라나야 오면도 두슬라나 페드로 오면도 페드데레마스 다 두슬 차와당으로
Right,
차와당
so we got, yep.
차와당이 차와슉 전부 밤나 니 제면나나 추디 유는 거 되래 차와디 슉 추지잖아 제만 남산 감도 그래요 지난시 그저 생게 파자 투부샤나 아니 메 딜스테드 그래서
Right.
센타모딜라 데드고요.
Uh-huh.
아니 파자 투부메나 남산 제도 아니 코메 전치도고요 말이야. 근데 텐도고요 말이야.
Right.
그래서 사실 저 텐데 파자 슉 처음 유면서 아니 코메라 센타모디가나 네도고요. 와 데도고요.
Any Kiwa German?
제메 텐도고요.
Okay. All right. So regarding your original question, getting back to how the memory works. So we have this gross level of mind, right? And then through that to our body and our mind, we do all these actions or have all these experiences, let's say. So this is, imagine it's like rain, right? All these experiences are like rain falling. And our subtle mind is like this bed of sand, right? Now, if it's very heavy rainfall, then a lot of water will get absorbed into the sand. It'll become quite wet and it will stay for a long time, right? It makes quite a... Whereas if the rain's just very light rain, and then it doesn't make much of an impact, right? Like it does, the sand it won't really absorb much water. So it's like that. If we have very strong experiences or actions or something like this, then this makes a very strong imprint on the subtle level of mind. And if it's just very light, like things that don't have much impact, then it doesn't stay. It doesn't really sink in. So it's only these kind of, like, I don't know, heavier imprints or stronger imprints that actually those ones are what's remembered. You know, that's what these people can remember from their future lives.
근데 저 맞을 때 제가 맞이 텐도고 말봐. 네 냠녀시래요 말봐.
Right.
나 하나도 단다 냠녀요 가래요 가나. 하나도 미투구로. 당도 최저로 미망고 얘기도. 미망고 얘기 되게 더 나시더라. 미가시에 당고 통화 다가가. 내가 망고 통녀도 쌤나네.
Like deja vu.
쌤다 요래. 조군인 거다.
Right.
리카시 레디 데이터 막 계신 대우민도 상관과 저어제 진짜 디니니 차와데 가네레 어디다 바자 통문도 써야 되다.
Okay. So, you know, although we can't actually directly remember our previous lives, right? We don't have this experience, or many people don't, right? We have something like when we meet certain people, like here at the centre, we meet various different people. And sometimes we get this kind of sense of deja vu, or just like maybe it's not even that strong, maybe just a feeling like when you meet somebody, some people you immediately have an affinity towards, right? Like a positive connection. And some people you just, for no reason, you really don't like them. And others you just, you know, it's quite neutral. So this depends on what the strength of the imprints that are arising, right? Because you don't really know the person, but you get all these, sometimes you get feelings towards these people. This is depending on these imprints and like this, and the strength of those imprints and whether they're positive, negative, that affects these feelings we have towards people.
맞지 거기가. 아니 봐봐.
Douglas 보고 그래. 맨아들이 야보 그래요.
Yeah.
next time the suit. He's just talking about the camera, and I'm saying, you know, I had to dress up for the camera.
This is my suit. 어디래? 예, 겨워가지고 계절래요.
Okay.
근데 첫 인증 저는 인증
Right. It's good talking about this previous lives. It's good to have this kind of question and discussion.
You know, Mao Zedong, Mao Zedong?
Yeah.
No, Mao Zedong asked one Gishi, our sheriff just, he's very famous Gishi. He asked Mao Zedong, do you believe past, future, and what? US.
Right. Yeah. Do you believe in past and future lives?
통금에도 왔어.
Right.
이제 간데스기 봤어.
Yeah, but if you can't see them, how do you believe in them?
아니, 아버지를 계속 갈라 그래서는 저는 산이 니마데 저는 니마데 이제 지금 산이 니마 저는 통구도 왜 산이 니마 tomorrow 산이라
Yeah.
뭐 통구면도 산이 니마 예배 저는 kellen치기 kellen치기 예수 렌 겨다
So this Sheriff Gebser, this Gishi Sheriff Gebser then asked Mao Zedong, "Can you see the sun tomorrow?" And Mao Zedong said, "No." And he said, "Well, do you believe the sun tomorrow will exist?" And he said, "Yes." And then that was it. Right, so he kind of like outsmarted him. He probably got tortured for it, but yeah. Right.
네.
Right, so it's like, you know, a lot of people say, oh, there's no future lives because I can't see them. But then you can't see, like, the sun or what's going to happen tomorrow, but you still believe it's going to be there, right? So this is, like, not a real logical argument to say because you can't see it, it doesn't exist. You didn't torture him?
He's mom is very sharp, you know, big picture. I wrote his some book. Some part looks mind finding. More 대비어로.
Yeah.
사실 mind finding 자주 쓰는 양은 기저 시에죠. 기저 시에 이제 전문 나가서 미망이 시에 그 수술 류당 소 차단료 땅 거에서 나도. 근데 자주 쓰는 지난 거로.
Oh, okay.
그래서 제가도 미망하다.
Right, so-
상황을 땅 거라.
Right, on the word level anyway, it seems to be a lot like mind training, some of the stuff he said. Like, for example, he talked about all the people of China and offering your body to all the people, right? And he said this is kind of like bodhisattva way of thinking. Okay, sorry, life, like life and energy, or life to the people of China. And he said this is kind of like bodhisattva thinking, right?
As in, when I was young, we had no need to learn, we were children, you know. But my mother, father need to learn, need to memorize some words. They don't understand language. Then I read, then they repeat me. Then I read, they repeat me. And they didn't memorize. Oh, I already memorized. Mother takes time 2-3 days. I already one day already memorized, and without look text. Then they don't be look text. Like text same, you know. I already memorized. You know. This reason I leave some here the message, you know. And check your message. 따져야 보죠. 기저시로 이야고를 몇 두자를 하셔라. 그 마셔보면 따져지고 따져지. 따져지네. 아니 금전 통구도나 아니 기저시로 금전마다 기저시 저 말해서 가요.
Right.
그래서 야고도 알아.
Right. So there's actually some valuable meaning in it. Like one thing he remembers, this is Yamagi Malgi picture. Right? So that right. So this book, they had to memorize things from this book that Mao wrote, right? And so one of the things he remembers is that, you know, he said that like when you kind of meet people, you check, you know, are they good, are they bad, and then like if there's a reason to speak, then you speak. If there's no reason to speak, then you keep quiet. And he thought this is actually quite good.
에 컨트롤 마음 옵젠티브 차트링.
So now we're studying the teachings of Mao today. So we're all students of Mao. How did we get here?
마음 옵젠티브. 부다 내셔서.
So do we all have Mao nature now? I don't know.
마을 부다 내셔 이거다.
Yeah, well, Mao's got Buddha nature. So
어디네? 다시 나 줘대.
any other questions?
아,
You can just ask if you haven't written them down.
다
Oh, wait, Desco. Renee, Tiwachik.
Sometimes I hear that Buddhism is about developing loving kindness towards yourself and others.
Yep.
Then I hear I learn about it's about change and all things are impermanent.
Yeah.
And I also learn it's about emptiness and inherent nature.
Right.
All are beneficial to study and it's all connected. However, is there one that is more important than the other and which is most beneficial?
Okay. So tanda di mambo labra pena di namcha jangna dini mitakpa jango gire dini jambata ninji jango gire ini tomba ni jango gire ini leg yudre jango gire ini did sama pendok yore ro yinang di dinang la sama chikbare o so di karire so jang di karire
다 내가 시름기 수술라 다그 스럽다고 스토나 야고요 레스로 다 지신이 된지 된지 치워입니다 와서가 그 공기체 수술생라 좀 많이 배지 녀와 깨마도나 좀 잠지 지금 이제선지 과차지 생각돼 서로 실례요 아니 그 반응 제야도 다들 아니 다 누구다 이래 신이든지 지원이다와 된저든지 레빈데 두zu 좀 많이 범하지네 좀 하자지 과지 차지도 무슨가 과차 근데 다 닌지 카드도 알레도 다 게트웨어 배전시
Okay. Yep.
게트웨어 배전시
Okay.
안도세 대한시다가 아니 닌지 상무단에 카드라 참마님도 상무단에 들리시
Right.
한국 레레레레 상무단 근데 갈래라 참마님도 상무단에 들리 제다 개체주기 라빈 카네스 프랙티스 소데 대부분 메제나나 한국 소데 닌지다 참바 제와 동반이 남자들도 소 냠니도 제나 야고요 왔어
Right. So basically, as it's laid out, there's a step-by-step graduated path, right? So starting with reliance on a spiritual friend, precious human rebirth, impermanence, karma, and so forth. It goes through these steps, right? So what you need to do is you need to familiarize yourself with these until you get some sort of understanding. Now, at this stage, we can only develop what's called contrived understanding. We can't develop uncontrived understanding of these topics, but you meditate, you step by step on each one until you get a contrived understanding. And as you go up through the path, then along the way, you'll reach the point where you start to meditate on compassion. And at this point, when you're meditating on this meditation on compassion, kind of like at this point, you meditate on them all together, all of these steps together in order to facilitate the development of this compassion, right? So, first of all, you meditate on them individually one by one, and then at the point you meditate them on them all together. So the main things we want to develop are loving kindness, compassion, and an understanding of emptiness. But in order to do that, we need to step by step study get a at least contrived understanding of all the steps before we're actually able to do that.
나단다 닌지 당 참박이 깨져셔야 돼. 나단다 태고 전부에 산제 익세라 닌지야 공부 당고라.
Right.
딜라 당고도 섭배 당고 땅 나서 당고 고조 근데 다지 마신 진진 상당에 주소리 주소 땅 사회 주소 뒤에 상당세 제일 상고 갔다 그래서나 수수 뭐에서 미치 통으로다 미러지 미치 직니로이나 근데 당시다 딜라 마 닌지 지기 때 미딜라 나저 저기 미치가 미세 수수수 계절한데 와 아고라 배 참바지기 딜라 닌지 지기 시제 미세 미치 소소 뒤에 처와 뭐 나는데 강에 텐조 미지어와
Mm.
미지래야 아니 아 미디래야 롱딩이면 미들라 참바지기 미들라 자와지기 소소소라 담자체 미지가 근데 미디 가도 통하는 데라야 직 자와다 잠래는 아니 근데 미니를 상다 와 손나다 실라도 다나데 야게 비네 줘야지 교고요스 상마라 남산 상마라 상마람시 찍라 찍라지 당아 드리네 미딜라나 미세기 자와 참바지기 내 제네 투비는데 무슨 안에 자와 진 딩네 오네 직레용도나 근데 미니르지 아 손나지 실라지 도도도스 메마마마
Think them not genuine, right?
아
Think they're really genuine. Okay.
소리 중나 아니 야게로 왔어
Okay. So, when we talk about like the importance of love and kindness and compassion, right? Especially in the Mahayana vehicle, right? This is very important. But it's something the development of this is very important, something we need to work on. So when we meet people, we should make this kind of commitment to relate to them with love and kindness and compassion, right? This should be the thought in our head when you meet somebody. Always working towards acting towards others with love and kindness and compassion. So, and especially when we meet difficult people, right, that tend to push our buttons or whatever, then we need to make a commitment not to get angry with them, not to respond to their whatever they're doing with anger, but to always look at them with kindness and compassion. We need to have this commitment, right? And so the way we can do it is we start with one person, and then we move on to 2 and 3 and so forth like this. So the way you can do it is you make like a special, if you're having a particular something with some person, you make a particular like intention to relate to that person with love and kindness, compassion, and not get angry. And then when you familiarize yourself with it till it's actually kind of comes from like the depth of your heart, or it becomes very genuine, and you got that feeling, like this genuine kind of feeling of love and kindness towards them, then you move on to 2 people, and then 3 and so forth. Rather than trying to do everything all at once, it's a bit tricky. But if you do it this way, then quickly you can actually develop your love and kindness.
하나도 이래도 내가 지도에다 그러도 내가 야친구 지기 배샤 망고 서위 계좌 망고 시에시에는 제일림도 내가 제일 내가 춘주지네 내가 제일은 텔레바게 아니 거기 내용도 하고 지구적이야래 그냥 춘주지네 고속제 시에르셔 아주 청고지 저기 상자 청고 상단데 마디 수수 소모가 밤마도체 이게 그래서 뭐스 강의 펜마도 있었어요. 남배추 편실에 도움을 누르고 챙거라다 유카시에 봐. 스스로게다 프랙티스 제시행 말하다 쌤. 냠네
간다 디서버 거기.
제가 냠네 춘주춘주네 고주는 저. 춘주네 내가 고주.
Right.
미래레레레 미지 미송 미시 미나 미토비 구주스 도도 칼레칼레 아무 수수 틸레 여저라
Right.
디게네 파 고도 셈 셈다데 베 두스미 원래베나 아니 칼레칼레 셈제 담제에서 다운트해야 되는 차라.
Yeah. So, in the same way, like when we do work for like external work, right? Like if we try and do everything all at once, like say we want to make $1 million business, right? If we try and just do everything all at once, like try and make money and meet many people and talk to many people and do all things, everything together, it doesn't really work out. But if we do like one thing at a time and do it properly, and when that's established well, then move on to the next one and go like that, that's how you develop successfully. So Dharma practice is the same thing, right? You develop step by step, and when you have a good understanding of one thing, then you move on to the next, and so forth. So if you're developing compassion, for example, right, if you can develop it strongly towards one person well and stabilize that, and then you move on to 2 and 3 and 4 and so forth, and then eventually you can expand it to all sentient beings. But so if you do this step by step gradually, it can be more effective to do it that way. Any other questions?
다음은 그 릭세시 다디 나가서 릭세 차네 다 냠내시단 단다 다라래 와다 맞아 냠내시 다 릭세 표현 가려래다
Okay.
릭세
Oh,
표현
no, right. We've got it. Okay. So now we've finally, well, not finally, but we've moved on from the signs, the method, and the. Oh, you haven't got this on the list. I don't know why I'm showing you the Tibetan. Look at everybody. So we've moved on from the. Yeah, we've moved on with the method, and we've talked about the signs. Now we're talking about the benefits of awakening your nature.
수저대가 시버세는 거잖아. 시버. 수저대.
Yeah, you do it. Shiba. Rig sepe penya. Yeah, you do.
릭세 표현 가려래. 릭세 표현 나가서나 릭세 표현들라 장주는 미 로시데 템바스 산제 릭세 사베나 네 수주줄라다 민제 릭세가 장주는 미고 산제라 미고 산바 템포 시주 산제 공부 타베야 셈데 템포 시주
Okay, stable aspiration, midbar. Yeah, aim.
이거 템포요. 이거 템포.
Or aspiration, okay. So when the benefits of awakening to your nature, right, is that you'll have a very stable intention, aim, or aspiration to attain the state of Buddhahood. Like it's very strong and stable. That's one of the benefits.
아니네. 준주 다 최최지야래. 준주
Right, and
준주 셈 나네 수세.
right.
나도 단다 최지야 수수 리두스 너무시 가고도 와. 최지고 다 제고 간디 제고 다 공부하고 예 비자자고도
Yeah.
릭세 사비는 셈 나로네. 셈 나로네. 안 베리 준주 최지야 강의 좀 해야겠다.
So, and then you'll have very strong, joyous effort towards Dharma practice and towards developing your mind, towards enlightenment, right? And this will come very naturally. Now, at the moment, we kind of see this Dharma as like a big effort, right? Like, oh, it's difficult, and you get tired and we get burnt out, and etc., etc. But if we have this awaken to our nature, then everything will become very joyful, and we'll have this very kind of powerful joy and this joyous effort in our Dharma practice.
다음에 두월은 이제 민고치 맞아. 두월은 다 공자죠로. 한 공자들 때리시지. 될래요. 아 내가 충분충분다. 고마워치. 내가 빌려가.
Jigtangi laga.
지금 내가 싫어 고마워치.
Okay.
최디 개주부에 하고는 다 가지고 있는 공 두월은 다 공자다.
Yeah.
다시 망고 시에서가 퇴사가 퇴배 된다. 공자. 아니 공망고 잡이나 아니 다 누가 리그라고. 공망고 맞는 아니 다 가고 싶으더라고. 제가 뒤에 공자를 아니 셈 나네 텐덴시지. 아니 다 공자제 산지 공모 오토도 했는데 그래서
And then we'll naturally kind of lose interest in other things like worldly activities and, what was it, meaningless activities or something like that, right? And we'll have this really strong intention to just do this kind of listening, reflecting, and meditating. So we'll listen and we'll study and we'll analyze and we'll think. Then we'll meditate and meditate again and again and again. And through this meditation or familiarization, then the real power of the mind comes. And the mind becomes very stable in its focus and its understanding. And then you can develop real realizations and quickly attain the state of enlightenment.
다 릭세 타나 예송을 유도 타고요. 릭세다 예송을 다 지다지다 야 베네 먼저 시골하고도 이제 닝제단 참방원이 되나 예송을 얘기만 가르스나 이 개월로 와 개월로 되게 되불라 대화용 거요. 다 양말 다 밀레 끼고 얘 이거 가르스나 유디 야고 찾아서 와 예송을 얘기만 예송을 yeah,
So, also when we awaken to our nature, it can prevent us from being reborn in the lower realms. Why and how does that work? Well, because when we die at the time of death, right? If we have this loving kindness and compassion in our mind at that point in time, then of course we'll get a positive next rebirth, right? Because the cause brings about the result. So if we have a virtuous cause and a virtuous state of mind at the time of death, then we'll get a positive rebirth. So this awakening our mind also can protect us from rebirth in the lower realms.
아무래도 수수
Sorry, awakening to our nature.
수수 잡토고요. 이제 나 수수 잡토는 아니 미시다 잡토라.
Right.
로고치도라.
Yeah.
제가데요.
And if we can protect ourselves, and then we can help others. If we can develop and protect ourselves, then we can benefit others.
제가다 닝지 보면 이 겨워지망에서는 지금은 와. 민류된 타고도.
Right,
민류된
right.
타봐야지. 심지 신라 펜도시 이나 기부 충분다. 기부 첨부 람님도 레용다.
Right. So, for example, if we can create virtue, have a positive mind in time of death, and then, if we develop loving kindness and compassion, then we can next life have a precious human rebirth, and then based on having a precious human rebirth, then we can have the potential to benefit sentient beings, benefit others. If we're born in the lower realms, not much chance to benefit others. So if we can focus in this way, then that's combining the small scope and the great scope together.
어딘데 연구. 다단단 니 요래서 아니 상단단 가셔서 숨님도 줘야 된대. 아니 시님도 냠내셔야되로 상대.
Right.
어딘데 갈래.
Oh, okay.
시행으로서.
So now we've combined like 2 practices together, right? And then slowly, when you familiarize more and more, then you can combine 3 practices and 4 until you've got the whole lot bunched together. That'll be good.
어디에다 편데 릭세 편.
Yeah.
릭세베 편이지. 다 릭세베 편디라 당한거 벌써 우리 릭세 편. 다 근데 나도 뒤준 상무한테 땅으로 라운지. 다 처음으로 나는 거 상무단다. 그냥 상사라 먼저 다 미카시에라 아 데베네드 신나네 냐제로 아게마드네 도자드네 차서다 근데 되냐냐 신나네 냐제 되기도 거르는데로
Dewa Dugna Dido.
마마가 수수 bad experience
Oh, Trengido. Okay. Alright.
그냥 딱이 와요 말이야 그냥 레벨을 리서치를 제대로
Right.
이게다 다디파 드즈탕 상마다 어당 산제지 리기어레스
Right.
산제 누워요 땅내디 야제 땅제 이제 닝지 전부 깨도 버시니 닝지 깨지 아니 깨도 버시는 나 산제 이직다 표저 야고지 단단 비교된 지기 수수수 캐내시 띵어줘서 수 상담이나 아니 셈이야 셈반 통보지 셈은 누가리 수는 바리 아딘데를 든다 요래서
Okay. So, now, like a lot of the time, we kind of think a lot about the past, about previous things that happened, past, like, happy events and sad, like difficult times. And we're kind of going around this in our head again and again and again, right? And we just kind of regurgitate it. But, we need to stop this because we're not like running a recycling center here, right? We're trying to actually develop our minds. So then we need to think about other things. So just recycling the same thoughts, there's no benefit. But if we think about our Buddha nature, then this gives us this confidence that we can develop our loving kindness, develop our compassion, develop the power of our mind, and so forth. So through this understanding, then we can actually do something useful with our...
아니 셈을 공개하면 셈 참으셔 이내야 이내야 외로시 레베서 근데 상담에 우리 상담 그래서 많이 된거로 저러 근데 내 셈이 산지에 그릭들 외로 실례 근데 외 니마 샤고 상담 아니 된데서는 야고 셈을 생도 단다고서 다시 곰 간대에서 저는 망보지 주저 숨시 공개거라 간대죠 녀도 차이도
Okay.
갈래 가지고 근데 왜 되게 공개 클레만스로 때야 이세 때야 배워 되게 셈베 세고지 돼
Right.
아니 데라 내가 구구지 데베 산지에 살아야 돼 그냥 근데 그거이나 아니 공개지 니후마
Right.
진단다 망보지 니후다
Right. So, then we can also meditate, like using this nature, the subtle nature of our mind, right? So what we can do is we can imagine this it's like radiating light, and then this light radiates through our body, goes through, emanates through our body and radiates out, right? So this is a very good practice if your mind's getting tired, because sometimes you might be doing practice or meditating for 2-3 hours, and you might start to become tired and sort of doze off. At that point, you can do this practice to visualize using this light, and this should help to make your mind clear and alert, right? And then you won't be sleeping. So I think Geshe has seen a couple of you guys nodding off, he said, so it might be useful for you to do this practice.
아니 가도이나 개와식으로 봐. 개와식도 개회 파자데. 그래서 이제신 개 파자데 쌤 참여가나 요요 참고. 맞아. 딱 개와식으로랑도 개와식 미리 펜다식이요. 이렇게 개와식 전주쌤 공부. 언니 공부요, 인지 공부요. 다 두두 공부 뉴버지요 봐. 뉴버지. 뉴버디 근데 쌤 참여가는 도서 상담.
Right.
this picture.
So it's also very important to engage in virtuous activities, but also with the understanding that these all make imprints on the subtle nature of it, or subtle level of our mind, I should say. So whatever actions we do all make imprints on our subtle mind, like seeds or imprints on our subtle mind. So we need to be aware of it, that whatever we're out there doing is creating these imprints on our mind. So yeah, it thinks this is probably enough for now. So we'll call it at this point. What was that thing? Is that it? Should have brought a whistle.
Yes,
like in the past I have meditated a lot on our precious human rebirth, and this was really important for me. But then recently I have been thinking, if it's so hard to attain a human rebirth, maybe our collective karma, or the karma of the people, should be a little bit more positive, and we see like people doing such horrible things. So how does it come?
Well, you mean it's hard to attain a human rebirth, or it's hard to attain a
so
precious human rebirth?
A human rebirth. That's
An ordinary human rebirth.
yeah.
Okay. So, Marangyonla di Milu Rinpoche, Gomang Vigab, di Pentabudu. Di Samba Yonson, right? Then di Migi Mikena, Milum Rinpoche, number Marani, Chidangi Mi. Kena Kalikabudu, Sona Mambo Gogiru. Ya, mi pe dukchi yore. Ni Sona Mambo, then mi dukchi like a magnas scope, Kandi Tenachini Jigire. Gunsen Kansan said, De Kena Deni Layabo Yuguri, Semiabo Gogre, pe dukchi jigiri.
Sona Benatana Maranzo meeting the Sona Mangusa. 아니 굴러냐고요 말. 굴러냐고요. 지금 굴러냐고요 말에. 굴러요 매매자 아니 미루된데베네 파셔 축구차 아니 미르 차와치야 너와치야 된다. 다 잠물리나라 용무도. 두즈 상어 겨나마 그 소나 망고사야. 그 소남사제 미르 팬도지 굴러냐고 좀 중요 맞다. 와. 굴러냐고 좀 매매자 아니 굴러라 배 미르네야 란제시 마음다. 란진제 도시를 란진제 그런지 미신들네 수수 페머스 차야당 굴론데 야고 매기자 되게 연구요 레스다.
So, what's happened is, sure, okay, they've created a lot of merit in the path to be born as a human, but at this point they don't have a very good motivation, right? So this means that, of course, the actions that follow are not good. So in order to attain a human rebirth, and especially one with fortunate circumstances surrounding it, means they've created a lot of merit in the past. But at this point in time, their motivation isn't to benefit others, it's to be wealthy or famous, or whatever it might be, and they don't care if they harm others along the way, right? So their focus is not positive. So at this stage, it's the difference between the merit they've created and their motivation, right?
먼저 가르쳐 버려나 말한저 가르쳐 버려나 먼저 말하면 보자. 겨워서 봐. 말라요 보자. 겨워시마 밀루된네 맛에 최여서 맛에 라마 천년 단도 로 라마 천년이 요사 라마 천년 요자마에 되게 최망고 년제 수수심이야. 아니 이제 최 바자저들이야. 된대지가 겨울엔
Right, so what can we learn from this? Well, it's important that we now make aspirations or prayers for our future rebirth, right? So we should make aspirations to attain a human rebirth, but also to meet the Dharma, and as well as that, to meet qualified lamas, teachers, like extra qualified lamas and teachers, and to be able to hear a lot of Dharma, listen to a lot of Dharma, and to be able to create a lot of positive imprints on our minds in the future. So these aspirations are very important for us to do. Yep, so get praying, y'all. Right. Right. So sometimes they ask Geshe-la, like, what do you pray? Where do you pray to be reborn in your future life? Yeah, he wants to be a Tibetan again. He likes Tibet. Wants to be born in Tibet. Yeah, so thanks. It's good. Like, wants to be in a place where the Dharma's strong. So Tibet's good, or Bhutan's good. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's up to his karma. So he might end up in hell. He doesn't really know.
Maybe in the future the Dharma will be stronger in other places.
Maybe. So Chikzina Jema di Chur di Sachishemba Shukchemba Yongirero. Yeah, we don't know, but it's definitely coming in the West, right?
Maybe
New
New Zealand.
Zealand, yeah. Pure realm of
New Zealand, no Kiwi.
Kiwi Dharma. The Kiwi lineage. So we have Nyingma, Kagyu, Sakya, Gelugpa, and Kiwi. This is pretty good. Four's enough. Yeah, don't need Kiwi.
What?
Smash out lineage. So we need to like this. So this reason we need to make aspirations and also make dedications, right? This is why we do all these aspiration and dedication prayers, to kind of create merit and also help us with these things. Okay. Oh, wow, wow.
Page 51, to offer a mandala of thanks.